So this was me in the morning, trying to make a video. I was sent to my mom, my dad, and then my wife, my family, to tell them I was already flying to the city I told them I was going to. And then we took off. The flight was meant to be for 3 hours, and then about 2 hours 30 minutes into the flight, it started raining heavily. It's a usual thing to rain while you're up there, but the rain was too much. It was so heavy that I couldn't see anything. I was sitting directly behind the pilot. You can see the pilot looking left, looking right, trying to look down. Before everywhere was covered, I knew we're on top of a river. I saw we're on top of a river. So, and I noticed the plane was going down speedily. So at that point, I became scared as a human being, and then I began to pray my spirit, and I say, Lord, I can't end like this. Remember, I'm building you a church. I had an agreement with you that I was going to build you a church single-handedly years back. A few years ago, when I started a particular business, he gave me an idea. I promised him to do a church, and I'm dedicating this church by January 28th. Lord, I can't go to the grave and that church will be dedicated. Save us, save us. I began to speak in tongues, and before I knew it, I just saw that we touched the ground suddenly, because I wasn't seeing anything in the front. And then look at the waters. I would touch the ground. It was a muddy place, filled with water. Look at the water, the way, and then the pilot couldn't control it. And then the next thing we saw ourselves was the head of the plane was already getting into the bush, and then it stopped suddenly. So we all rushed out of the plane to avoid a fire outburst. And you can see the fans still rotating. And then the villagers, with the sound of what happened, villagers gathered. People were trying to assist us. We're there all night, all day, all night, trying to find solution, bringing out the plane. We couldn't do anything. They were using shovels and all that. So they now brought a tractor by the next day. And then the tractor was now what we tried to use. Meanwhile, the aviation fuel was leaking while the plane bent to one side. So we found a means to collect the aviation fuel. So these are the gallons. All these things were aviation fuel that were gathered all night till this morning. And then we tried to still get it out until around 3 p.m. when we were able to bring it out of the place. And then the pilot checked the engine and said one of the engines was still in a very perfect condition. The other one was a bit affected, according to what he said. And then he said that something broke in the leg, the thing that covers the tire when tire goes up, so that we were going to lose it up. So the pilot loosed it out, and there was no runway. So how do we? Because we can't even stay there. It was a village, no way to go out. So the only means was still to fly with the same craft out of the place. No runway. So the villagers had to clear the land, clear the place, and then try to give us a place where the plane can run. You can see the tractor dragging the plane to a far place where we can at least have a little place to run and take off. And then I said to the pilot, "Are you sure we can go?" He said, "We'll try." So I took his hand, said the word of prayer, and then we trusted God, got back into the plane, and then we had to do a short run, and then we took off. And God took us on the air and kept us for 3 hours back to Kinshasa. This is us landing back in Kinshasa, and then this is what the pilot had to say after we landed. So
thank you.
I'm just here to say, Father, thank you for sparing my life.